tell you, it's very competitive out there, and you have to stand out. So tonight's career panel is going to be an excellent resource for you. I would say take notes, take pictures, be ready to go, and have an action plan ready to go after this. All right, so I'm going to just give everyone's name here, and then they're each going to give like a 30-second background on themselves. So I'm going to start here with Megan Juliano, and you can pass this over. I'm sorry.
3 people on the other end of the phone all day, and I had friends who were in recruiting that were sort of doing the same thing. The people were less angry, and they were also making commission. So I was like, I want to do that. So I switched over and became a recruiter, recruiting recruiters, switched to finance and accounting for a little bit, and then I recruited on tech for 5 years. And then a year ago, I decided to branch out on my own and start my own staffing company called DiGi Staffing Solutions, where I staff all things go-to-market, and marketing falls into that, as well as sales and a few other categories.
Hi, my name is Rachel Bean. I actually studied business marketing, but I started my career in sales tech. That just seemed to be the opportunity at the time when I graduated, but I've always had a passion for marketing, and from that point, I was able to learn a lot from my sales experience. And anyone that's worked in marketing, you'll find out that you work very closely with a lot of sales team because you're helping them market and sell a product. From starting off in tech, I moved to Boston working for a startup, and then there started to be more brand opportunities and events, and I started actually working in fashion shows. And I had, there's a whole Boston fashion community, and I love fashion. So I started going to a lot of their shows, and then from that point I started hearing about opportunities to work with different fashion and beauty brands. And I started working for this company called Luxury Brand Partners, working on a brand called Orbe Hair Care. And we also worked with R&Co. I helped launch in New England. We've helped build up the territory, got to do a lot of exciting events. So I really got to expand my marketing experience. And then from that point in my career, I wanted to get agency experience and really go more into marketing events. And I started working with another brand called Jack Daniels. So a little different than beauty, but still working with brands, getting to do more kind of experiential marketing, consumer brand marketing. I also worked with the NBA, the NHL, we worked with the Bruins, and then I've also worked with crypto brands and luxury residential brands. So my career has been very diverse, but focusing on working with brands and growing them in the industry.
Hi, my name is Trish O'Leary. I have been a recruiter for over 20 years now. I have worked for some of the world's largest advertising agencies. I have worked in startup environments, and most recently I started YoPro, which is a one-on-one coaching business for young professionals entering the marketplace. And what we do is we provide one-on-one coaching. We do resume reviews, help you with your LinkedIn profiles. We do a ton of one-on-one recorded mock interviews, and also just help you strategize, how do you network, because you will hear me talk a lot about your network is everything. I'm excited to be here tonight, and thanks for having me.
Hi everyone, my name is Tom. I don't belong here, actually. I don't know. My name's Brian. I made a pretty big entrance there. So my name is Brian. I am the owner and founder of MarketingNerds.ai. I used to be in the corporate world as a CMO, VP, senior level leadership in very big companies in their marketing teams until I opened up my own business, which was the best thing I ever did. Now I don't know what I'm doing because I'm pretty much pioneering the world of AI and marketing, having a lot of fun, and I'm here on this panel to talk about your career, what marketing can do for you, and basically share my knowledge on where I'm at. But I'm in a really good place, and I know a lot, and I have a lot of experience, and I'm so happy to be here.
Awesome stuff. All right, so before we get started, we're going to have the panel, and they're going to be asking a bunch of questions.
Worked my way up to in-flight service director. I'm Canadian, so I did that most of my life, and then I moved to the US in 2020, and like a lot of us, our lives changed, had to reinvent myself. Luckily got an opportunity to, this is the time that I worked in marketing a little bit, and social media marketing specifically, that led to recruitment, and then talent acquisition, a little bit of HR, and then I did a pivot into career transition coaching and executive leadership, which led me to this opportunity today. All right, so thank you so much.
Looking into the different types of marketing that there are and seeing what it is that you're excited about. There are so many different parts of marketing. For example, social media, I'm sure everyone's heard about, is becoming huge, it's very popular, but there's different parts of social media. So are you a social media content creator where you're doing videos or static posts on Instagram, or are you doing videos and creating videos and putting them on YouTube or TikTok, or are you doing commercials on television or commercials on podcasts and radio? That's also marketing, but that's a different type of marketing. So understanding that you could be a content creator, but what channel are you going to be marketing on? Because it's sometimes what I've noticed is that when they say we need a marketing person like a generalist, they'll expect, well, you're marketing, you do all of this, but no, that's a specialty. So making sure that you identify, like, I'm an expert in this part is important. And then there's also one thing that I did, for example, at Jack Daniels, I was an experiential marketer. So I was doing very much heavy events and activations and consumer sampling and where you would go to like an event and it'd be all branded. Whereas compared to some of the other types of marketing I've done, where more so like agency type of analytical marketing, now we're doing paid ads like SEO or Google, Google or different like paid Instagram ads, and now that's all data driven. So, okay, I'm looking at the data driven. So if you're very much a numbers person, this is perfect for someone that likes numbers, where you're looking at, okay, we put this money into a paid ad and here's our results. So I think my biggest recommendation would be to understand that there's very different types of avenues for marketing and figuring out which one you're excited about and then what skill sets are necessary for that part of marketing.
As far as the roles that we're looking at now, are basically the traditional roles that were mentioned, along with AI prompter, along with generative AI video editor, along with AI SEO specialist. So these are all the new jobs that are actually coming in that us as marketers should actually be aware of. And they're really easy to learn with the tools that we're currently using. I mean, AI, we all probably have ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity. You can become an instant marketer with these tools. And if you specialize, if you really dive deep into these tools, you become a specialist and you become more attractive to employers. So I guess I'm going to represent the AI on this entire panel, the new AI. Nothing wrong with traditional marketing, it still exists, it's still there, and I'm sure as we go along here we'll talk more about it. So that's what I represent right now.
Really, really tough. So a couple years ago, you were able to just, submit your application to a few job postings, get a couple interviews, and land a job. It's not really like that right now. It's much tougher. There's a lot of competition. So what hiring managers are looking for and recruiters are people that are resourceful, that do what they say they're going to. Like if you book a call with a recruiter or with a hiring manager and you don't show up to the call or you're late or something comes up all the time, like that's kind of like a representation of who you are, and they're probably going to pass on you and go with somebody else that made it on time. Of course, like things always happen, they come up, but if it's a continuous thing, it might be something where you need to like reflect on yourself to see if you need to do something different, because the job interview is not only you interviewing for a job that you may or may not get or take, it's also like the sneak peek preview of what they're getting if they decide to hire you, as well as what you're getting if you decide to take the job. So I think you just need to keep that in mind, put your best foot forward at all times and go over and above when you can, and of course expect that out of the people that are interviewing you as well.
I tell you, it's very competitive out there, and you have to stand out. So
that I see candidates falling short on, and number one is like people showing up late for Zoom interviews. Like it's totally unacceptable. It just shows that you do not care, and so I think that that's like an immediate you're out for me. You have to show up to Zoom prepared, right? So you got to show up 5 minutes early, make sure your technology is working, have your resume ready, handy in case you have to email it or you have to orient the person who's interviewing with screen. You also need to make sure that your phone is fully charged in case your technology doesn't work or the interviewer's technology doesn't work. These are simple things, right? But these are things that I see as young professionals, they don't anticipate, right? You also, the other place where candidates are falling short is like the lack of thank you notes that people don't send. Like, I'm telling you right now, thank you notes matter. They matter a ton. I have sat in many rooms where the hiring decision has come down to who sent the thank you note first. Those things matter, right? The second thing that I see is that the job market it's so competitive right now. I've never seen it like this in my life. So not only do you need to know who you are, what you've done, what you want to do, but you also need to be able to talk about what makes you unique. Why do I want to hire you, right? Because in a sea of sameness of 100,000 people saying, I'm great at teamwork, I'm a strong communicator, so what? That's boring, right? So you really need to like dig deep and do some self-checking, like of what makes you unique. What do I bring to a job? Why does this hired person want to hire me? So for example, I think for myself, I'm unique because I think I've always been able to identify potential in people before they see it themselves, right? And so whether I'm recruiting or I'm coaching, I'm helping them create a story so that opens up opportunities for them. That's what makes me unique. So that's really important. Resumes are also very important. I do not like gimmicks. I do not like QR codes. I do not like pictures. I like a very clean, top to bottom resume. The bullets should have impact. So I would rather see 2 bullets that tell me something that you drove impact versus 5 or 6 that tell me absolutely nothing. If there's any advice that I can give you tonight, it's just that curiosity is going to be your best asset, especially when you're starting off. Curiosity is going to lead to great questions, great conversations, cultural. It's just going to make you show up better, right? So you always want to be asking curious. Be curious about everything. You always want to be learning. That's going to make you be a better marketer. It's going to make you be a better leader, and it's just going to make you a better human. That's it.
For you, but also the first 3 bullets in your resume, how did you move the needle? That's key in landing the interview. And then, sharing that with more context.
And I should have mentioned too earlier, I would also become very, very active on LinkedIn and really brand yourself, especially being in marketing, right? That goes like hand in hand with what you're probably doing or close to it. It's kind of a good display of you really like honing in on your craft and loving what you do. So even outside of marketing though, I always suggest people become very active on LinkedIn. And you can post things related to marketing. You can post some personal things. It's up to you. I don't like to get like too personal on LinkedIn, but like it has to make sense. But it's okay to throw in a few things here and there to get your audience to get to know who you are and what you're all about. And then I would start actively connecting with hiring managers at companies that you would like to work for, and also connect with peers that you would like to work with. And then don't go into it with a mindset when you're if it makes sense to, I guess I'll back up. Comment on people once you connect, even before you connect them, but of course once you're connected with them, comment on their posts, engage with them, go at it with like I want to help you type of mindset, not like what can you do for me, I want to get a job at your company, like it might seem counterintuitive, but if you go into it with a helpful mindset, like how can I help these people, how can I even just like promote their brand, their product, whatever they're trying to do. Oh, this person's at this event and they're looking for speakers, let me share their posts. Like just go into it with a helpful mindset. That'll come back around, and a lot of times those people will ask what they can do for you, and then when that time comes, you'll of course say, oh, I'm looking for a job in marketing, or is your company hiring, or do you know anybody that is? So I can't say enough good things about LinkedIn. Definitely get active on there and connect, and make sure you connect with all of us up here after this. I think it's a great way to set yourself apart from your competition and just really grow your brand, which really cannot hurt you even in the future when you're no longer looking for a job. And then going back to the job search and how you can set yourself apart. Yes, of course, a portfolio is really good. I always say too, if you're okay with it, if you feel good about it, like even including a video if you can, just talking about your resume and how you can help the company. You always want to keep that in mind, like what are the skill sets I can bring? What are the problems I know this company is having? And what's the skills that I can bring to help them to solve that problem? Like you want to get straight to the point on that. Like don't spend too long talking about like how you went to school, where you grew up, like of course cover that, but get right to the point. It's kind of like sales, right? If you guys have ever been close to sales, everybody's in sales. You want to sell yourself, and so you want to tell them very, very quickly how you can help them solve the problem that they're having.
Some people won't even accept it if you have a photo on it. But I've worked on these incredible brands and events, and I can't explain that in 2 bullet points. So I created a portfolio website that I've included my LinkedIn at the top, and then I have my portfolio. And they can look at it and they can see press interviews that I've done, that I have the videos.
And they're not even hired. When they come to my attention and they send me an email and say, hey, I did some research on your company, and I see that your marketing here is this is how I can fix it if I come on board. I'll do it in 30 days, I'll do it in 60 days, I'll do it in 90 days. A proactive candidate, so I guess what I have to offer to this conversation is be everything that you guys said, but absolutely be proactive before you even get the job. It sounds hard, but it's really not. If you find the emails of the correct people like you were mentioning earlier, connect with them on LinkedIn, drop your business, I call it a business card, likes and follows and all that, comments, that's engaging with that employer already. So I guess what I have to contribute to this is start doing the job already. Do the job that they're asking you to do, and that's how you're gonna stand out. My dad once said that there's no snowflake. Every single snowflake is different, so be a snowflake.
I think what I will add is just that I truly believe that your network is everything. And so young professionals, every job that I've ever gotten has been through my O'Leary gets promoted. I say, you know what, I've been talking to this great candidate, Brian, and I think he'd be a really great fit to replace me. That's how you get opportunities. So my advice for young professionals is you want to be connecting with your alumni. Your alumni is a great resource. Your professors. The 4 people here in the room, right? People love to give advice. People love when you pump their tires up, right? So you want to go into networking with people who have 1 to 3 years of experience in the industry that you're really interested in. You want to go in and you want to ask questions, right? And you want to listen. You want to know, what's the playbook like? How they got their job? That is what's going to open up doors for you. So just continue to just manage your network, follow up with them, share interesting articles, because you want to be memorable, and you want to stand out, and that's what's going to make you get those opportunities.
Make that ready to go at any networking event. Something that feels natural to you, that's true to you, is going to come across authentic, and if you have that practiced, I'll say, you'll introduce yourself like that to friends, to family even, and then to networking, at networking events, coworkers, and that's going to lead you to conversations that you want to have. So have that in mind. Think about what you want other people to know about you in the first 15 seconds. All right, so I'm going to pass this on.
You go from AI to SEO to in-person public speaking and in-person just intimate types of networking. We talked a little earlier about the different types of marketing, and the reason that I've been able to change my career to different areas is I've seen other jobs or other roles that people have done, and I said, I want to do what they're doing. What do I need to do to fill the gap from where I am with my experience and my skill set to be able to do what they're doing? So that's one thing that you want to think about, if you know where you want to go. So think about where you are now. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go in 6 months? Where do you want to go in a year? Where do you want to go in 5 years? And what does that look like? And what are the skill sets that you need to do? And how do you find out what those skill sets are that you need to do? And the first step would be research. Look online and say, someone that has this career, what did they study to get there? And it doesn't mean you have to have a degree. Sometimes it's just a matter of having those certain certifications or that experience. For me in my career, I realized as I wanted to get more into events marketing and working with bigger brands like Jack Daniels and the NBA, I needed agency experience. I worked for these incredible brands. I had the marketing, the business degree. I did not have any agency experience. And then my next goal was to start looking for agencies that would hire someone with my current experience. And getting that agency experience took me to the next level. So for skill sets, the biggest start that you can do is doing the research, figuring out where your current status is, where your gap is, and then what you need to learn. And then there's some great resources. For example, in Massachusetts, there's masshire.com. They have all kinds of different free tools, career coaches. They have training. There's LinkedIn Learning. Even AMA has amazing resources that you can use. Reaching out to your network. If you know someone that does a type of role that you want to get into, asking them, how did you do that? What do you recommend that I learn? And then you can start to fill the gap. And even volunteering if you're not able to get in that position. So I started getting into fashion and fashion shows by volunteering as an assistant at the shows. And then next thing you know, I'm working on these huge editorial runway shoots. But it took me a little bit to get there. And the biggest thing is figuring out that skill set. And for example, if you want to get more into AI, what Brian's working on, it's okay, what do I need to learn? Like, there's ChatGPT, there's Gemini, and then how do I get to those skill sets? So doing the research, figuring out like a self-analysis, and then kind of career planning and setting goals, and then figuring out, okay, what resources are available for free, what resources maybe do I need to save up for, and then figuring out what works with your current career and schedule, and then kind of building that in.
And you just never know like where a relationship might lead. Like you could even out there you could bump into somebody who's a CMO at a company or somebody that's hiring. You just never know. And I had to even like retrain myself to do this after COVID, after being so used to being locked up for a while, not being face to face with people. I had to remind myself how important it is to just like say hi to the cashier and have a conversation with people, because sometimes those conversations do, lead to something that you never expect, and other times you might just like make somebody's day by doing it. Before we tell you guys though, as far as getting emails, definitely check out Apollo. I think it's apollo.ai. Okay, yeah, you can get free emails there. Just be careful. You can get like cell phone numbers for like CEOs and stuff like that. So I like wouldn't call. I would use your best judgment, but you can get emails on there. It's a really, really good tool.
Skills that are not talked about, going back on what the original question was one of the skills that really stand out with any candidate, at least that comes across my world, my sphere, is boldness. Totally boldness. I'm not talking about being annoying. Talking about being bold, just strong. Like, listen, I have these skills. This is what I can do, and I'm going to do it. And let them know that. So I guess boldness, courage, another skill that is kind of lacking a little bit that most people don't talk about is persistence. So just don't send that resume out and be like, okay, I know what he's talking about. I mean, follow up. Find who you're going to be working with. Find the hiring manager. Again, it all goes back to boldness, and then just summing up what everyone said is just be bold and a snowflake. For you, because you have no clue what marketing is. And take it from me, I've worked with many CEOs who have no clue. So it took 3 of them that actually said that to me, like, oh yeah, you need to know this, or you're not working out because you don't know this. If you don't understand your audience, because marketing is 95% people, understanding people, and 5% product. If you don't understand that, Mr. CEO or company, I don't want to work for you. So just keep trucking on. You know marketing, you know the basics of marketing. Go to a company that welcomes that in and embraces that. Otherwise, bye-bye, this role. Who should be hired for this role? If there's no one, the next step is it gets dumped on a job board. So where you want to be is in that internal network, because you're going to be seen. It doesn't matter your skills, it doesn't matter specifics, it matters that you market and that you're getting to know people within the company that you want to work for, and that's really where it starts. Your resume is cool, but that's not, look on LinkedIn. One job within 10 seconds, I'm not exaggerating a little bit, but within 5 minutes is like 100 applications. I mean, why even play that game?
I just want to add to that, of like, I don't believe in applying for every job out there. I think that is just going to lower your confidence. I think it's
Recruiters are kind of like your walking, talking cover letter that can help you bypass the job boards and hopefully get you right into the hiring manager's inbox. So definitely work your network and have a couple of recruiters at all times. Again, like even if you're not looking, it'll come in handy in the future. Then as far as your tagline, and I'll hand it to you after. As far as your tagline, I would get on ChatGPT, I would tell it everything you just told us. I would tell it the 5 things that you're really good at, and then I would say, give me a tagline that's gonna stop a CMO at a life sciences company dead in their tracks and want to talk to me right away. And you can replace that with other things too, but the tagline is very, very important. If there's a way that you can get that same, you can even ask like, what could I put that's similar to this in my banner too? We didn't get into that, but having a banner on LinkedIn is super important because that's like the first thing people look at when they get on your page, and usually people decide within like 5 seconds if they want to stay on your page or if they want to move on to something else.
So I want to add to that.